Oh, so when the Roseanne thing quit, you quit the show before that, though.
I quit the show much before, yeah.
Because I remember seeing you at the Improv, and you were like, it felt like something was weird. Was something weird over there? You didn't like it?
Well, I only planned on doing one season of Roseanne. I always planned on doing one season. Did you watch the show growing up?
100%.
Roseanne, yeah,
it was our show.
I loved it growing up. It was such a big deal for me. Like I grew up poor, and like I was watching 90210 and Melrose Place, and just feeling bad about
Rescue
myself.
911, dude.
I know. I would watch A Current Affair. That was my shit. But no, what's Rescue 911 is just like
It was William Shatner, dude.
Oh yeah,
because people always called 911 and the police in our neighborhood, so it'd be like, oh fuck, maybe we'll be on here.
That was the show where like you would see a neighborhood and then you see him like walk into frame.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He'd just be like, hey everybody, I remember that shit now. And no, so I loved the show growing up, and when they were talking about it coming back, it was like right after Trump had become president, and I was everyone I think was super like overwhelmed by that, and like you know, I was trying to figure out a way to help. I think as a woman, him being the president is very challenging. It's triggering and hard and stressful, and I think I just want to kind of figure out why, because everyone was like, Trump voters are stupid. And like that's
I hate that kind of stuff.
I don't like that shit.
It's not helpful.
It's not helpful. It just makes it more Redskins versus Cowboys. It's not a mature argument. It's not sophisticated. It's also not true.
Yeah.
And then I found out a lot of white women voted for Trump, and I was confounded by that. And I usually like to do projects that have a question that I don't know the answer to, because then I'm going to be able to learn something.
Oh, I like this.
I'm motivated. You know, it's just sort of like, and then I was like, what a great way to like use, like contribute. I knew people that were like, you know, trying to raise money for Planned Parenthood and make cupcakes. I can't do that type of shit. That's not my jam. And I was like, maybe this could be a great way to start a conversation, help with this national healing process, because there's going to be people with different points of view. I had these like really like noble intentions, which, you know, ended up being a fool's errand. And Wanda Sykes was working on it, and Norm Macdonald, and, you know, Morgan Murphy, and like all these great people in the room. So, and Roseanne was always so progressive back in the day. Remember, there was that the Jackie domestic violence episode when Fisher hit her.
Oh yeah.
Remember the black girl in the school play? DJ wouldn't kiss the black girl in the school play, and she admonished him for that with this like triumphant monologue about how black people are just as good as we are, and like it was always so. And she was so pro-woman, so pro-gay, like. So I was really interested in the fact that she just voted for Trump 20 years later, and I had a lot of family members that voted for Trump or support him that were always so cool before. So I'm just kind of,
I have like, when you say that, I have tons of friends who are all the things you say, like pro-black, pro-gay, all those things, but also voted for Trump.
Well, Roseanne's point, not that I think we should really take any of her points to be valid given what we've seen, but like the reason I think I was comfortable working on it, because I sat down with her and I was like, I need to know why you voted for Trump. And not that this is necessarily true. It seems like, you know, she's kind of off the grid at this point mentally, but like she said, she was like, well, I was a Bernie supporter.
Yeah, that's what I was too.
She was Bernie or bust.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's interesting. So you're crazy liberal, but then you vote for Trump. Like that's, so she wasn't like Trump from the beginning.
No,
I
wish Bernie and Trump would have ran on the same ticket, honestly.
Interesting. And then, well, that's like a fucking mind meld.
But it would have been too, and I think a lot of people felt that way.
Really?
And that's the thing. I think that's where the disconnect is.
They have nothing, and they could never.
Right, but that's where you're going to get like two real people having to see other people's sides of things that are going to help.
Bernie for vice president? Well, he has no power.
Or Trump for vice president, and then Bernie for president.
I don't think Trump would ever be vice anything. You know,
right. And he might not. He's an egomaniac, right?
Yeah.
But I think they're all egomaniacs. But so what did she say?
Oh, so then she said, and I was like, but he's racist and like sexist and all these things. And she was like, totally, the things he says are crazy.
Right.
But jobs is really what fixes racism and sexism. Give them money. Help them elevate. And I was like, all right, you're wrong. And he's gonna, I mean, there's some truth to that, but it's like, he's not going to follow through with any of these promises, but I guess your motive makes sense. She's like always been so honest. She's always been so lovely. She was actually really lovely during production. She was so
I'm sure.
She was so grateful to be there.
She's one of the best.
I also didn't follow her on Twitter, which makes me a fucking idiot. I hadn't seen like the past tweets that were sketchy, but she would like take them down and then she'd put them up and then take them down. So it was like, okay, this is all about the greater good, and this show is going to be so healing. And then it came out, and when Trump called her, and we made a very balanced show that is not pro-Trump at all. It really kind of like explored the circumstances that led to him being president.
Right.
We never named him. We actually like made fun of him quite a bit. It was not a pro-Trump show. So when he called her and was like taking credit for it, it was like, dude, you didn't see it, homie. Like, you know. And so, but then I was like, you know what? I'm good. This is. You know, I don't really want to run other people's shows. I just want to kind of be a part of this. And then
was it stressful there?
It was stressful because I think it was very hard for me to write for someone I didn't agree with, but there were so many other characters on the show. So when it came to Roseanne, I was having a hard time separating Roseanne Connor and Roseanne Barr. That was my biggest struggle. And Roseanne Connor 20 years ago and Roseanne Connor now.
Right.
So it was kind of like, okay, so if Roseanne believes this, that doesn't mean Roseanne Connor believes this, and she would, because Roseanne's rich and she lives in Hawaii.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but Roseanne Connor has $400 and lives in Lanford. So, that was the hardest part about it. And there was a ton of pressure, I think, on it because it was so highly anticipated.
Right.
And John Goodman and Laurie Metcalf are, you just want to fucking nail it for them because they're just such legends.
The best, yeah.
And there was a lot of fighting in the room, which is good. That's what a writer's room is.
Yeah, it felt kind of, this year, a lot of stuff felt forced. Like, I just watched the first 2 episodes, but a lot of stuff felt like a little bit forced to me, Yeah. But that, I guess.
But first episode back after 20 years, we had to force a ton
to get it going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what TV is. It's forcing people to show up and say the things you wrote for them.
Did you, I remember when the intro music started, I was just like, it took me it was almost like Narnia. It was like walking through the back of the closet and like so nostalgic.
Crazy.
Did you feel, how did you feel once the show, when it went away? Were you surprised?
No, it's interesting because I think for me, like the goal of all of us working there was to do this thing where we were going to, granted, maybe like we're narcissists for thinking that we could have an impact like this, but it's like we wanted to contribute to like the country healing and like it like.
But half the country isn't hurt.
But here's what I'll say. It's like liberals and conservatives, however you define it, whatever, like. The one thing they could agree on is we like the show Roseanne.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when I would go around the country and be like, Roseanne, people will go crazy in the audience. Like I that is the one thing I feel like, and like porn.
Right.
There's the one thing.
Porn first too.
So it's like people watching Fox News or John Oliver, Fox News or Samantha Bee.
If you could put Lanford, Illinois in a woman's butthole out there, you could blow the whole internet up.
It kind of is a butthole. And by the way, Lanford's not even a real place, so I can say that. It is based on Elgin, Illinois, I think.
Is it really?
Where Elgin watches were made. Yeah, but the company is closed. I know a lot about Elgin.
I haven't been there. I love Illinois, though, and I'll be in Stark County, Illinois on June 29th for a fundraiser.
Yeah, and I'll be in Chicago, outside of Chicago, Illinois in August.
Will you?
I will up that plug.
Oh, you're at the Improv?
Yeah, I'm doing, that one outside of Chicago.
It's big. It's
Schaumburg,
nice room.
is it called?
Schaumburg.
Because I'm working on my new special, and I need to go do an hour, places.
That's awesome. Yeah, and we'll put your dates, too, at the front, too.
But yeah, so it was definitely I don't know. I think we all wanted this to be a part of the healing process or some kind of cool statement or something. And then I think that maybe, although it's not the package I was hoping it would come in, the win was that Channing Dungey at ABC, this awesome black woman, canceled the racist white woman. Maybe that's what needed to happen,
Right.
So it's not how I thought it was going to go down, but maybe that's ultimately the best outcome.
Yeah. Do you feel like Roseanne's a racist?
Yes.
Twitter is dangerous. Twitter's dangerous for senior citizens. And first of all, I don't even know anybody who's fucking on Twitter anymore. Twitter is a cesshole. Anybody who comments or replies on Twitter or takes people, it's all fucking losers that sit at home and do nothing. That's what I find.
And here's what I'll say, it's so weird when you just said that because there was a moment where I was like, Roseanne, because I cannot wrap my head around the fact that Roseanne is racist. It's still so crazy to me because growing up with her, the two best friends on the show, Chuck and Anne Marie, were black.
That's what
they are black. They haven't changed.
Right. So is she racist, or does she just say a tweet that somebody who's 65 years old on Twitter might say?
I don't know. I don't think we can qualify and defend because we will never know the answer.
Right.
The reality is you have to take responsibility for your behavior. If you send a racist tweet, you're racist. We don't. It's kind of that's if you rape a girl, you're a rapist.
If you rape a girl, you're a rapist. If you say something on Twitter, are you a racist?
But it's not just that. There were other things.
Right. Oh yeah, I think if you look at her whole thing, she looks for some type of controversy.
And then look, I think that if that was the first tweet she had ever sent,
right, 100%.
We might be like, oh, maybe she's never used Twitter. Maybe she but that is.
It's so irresponsible.
It's actually what she did was slightly above the N-word, actually.
Yeah.
It was just sort of because it's just, I'm still shocked, as you can tell about it. Even on Tylenol PM, I'm getting adrenalized and freaked out. But it was when we went back and looked, there was years of
oh yeah, if you go back and look, it's what's going on here?
Because it's also, here's what I'll say. Thinking it, that's your business. I don't necessarily agree with you, but deciding to put it out there, that's a different level. And you voted for Trump. like, it's just, there's so much other like ancillary evidence that if she had voted for Hillary and had never tweeted it, we might all go like, oh, maybe this is maybe we should figure out what happened here. And she's Roseanne and she was always so progressive, but it was just like, there was just too much, there was too big of a case against her for me to like be like, no, she made a mistake. Like,
right. Do you
and
feel,
like, fuck you.
Right.
Like 200 people are out of a job.
Right. Do you feel like ABC, but ABC also, it's like, is it ABC?
ABC.
Should they have been letting, like, shouldn't there have been something in the contract? No, Roseanne's not allowed to tweet?
Yeah, but like, she had 200 followers at the time. No one was thinking about it.
I see.
She wasn't
she
like.
She started up in the middle of the night.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Like, it was like, as the show, like, no one was prepared for this, and no one ever thought this would happen, because who would be so crazy to do that? And Roseanne is smart.
Yeah.
She is smart.
Oh,
and,
I'm sure.
You know what I mean?
She navigated an industry at a time when it was.
Well, I think that if I'm going to be honest, like, that is what a lot of, the people on the show were concerned, because she was so silenced for so long, and she had created this show and she wanted to do certain things, and they were like, easy, honey, like, we'll write the scripts. And she was minimized, and she was denied creatively, and she had to fight tooth and nail for so long that by the time, it was time for her to come back, and like, people have decided women are funny and can star in TV shows and have creative autonomy, I think like a lot of the producers were like, we don't want her to feel like she's being silenced again, because that didn't go so well the first time. So I think it was like, everybody's way of making her feel like she's being seen and heard and not having her First Amendment rights taken away or being silenced creatively or whatever. But I had to talk with her, because some of the tweets were, she was like retweeting like fake news stuff, and I had to talk with her in the beginning, and I was like, what's up? What's going on? Why are you on Twitter? What are you doing? And she was like, oh, no, I retweet that because I think it's crazy. And I'm like, well, if you're going to retweet something that you think's crazy, you have to say something. Or else people think you're endorsing it. And she was like, oh. So in my head, I kind of thought she like didn't really know how Twitter worked.
Right.
But she like didn't have a lot of followers. So I was like, oh, okay. Like, let's just write it into the show, or I don't know. Crazy.
So crazy.
Crazy.
But you were not, in the end, you're still not really shocked, probably?
I wasn't shocked, because I had gone, when we were doing the boy in a dress stuff, we had Glad come in to talk to her about, sort of how transgender, and she kind of didn't really know how transgender, or the like most up-to-date hip sort of take on it.
Right.
Like wasn't really on the right side of history around it. And we're like, let's just put it into the show. And Sarah Gilbert plays the mom, and she's, a lesbian. She knows all this stuff. Like, we're going to be, she'll make sure that everything's, that Roseanne understands, and with the kid on set. But you know what? I'm sorry. To answer your question, I was surprised. If it had been like a transphobic thing, or like, because she's very into the Israel, if it had been about that, or like the Nazi cookies thing was a little bit like, she's Jewish and it's obviously offensive, but like, I can see why she thought it was funny.
Right.
Like, I understand. I would never do it. And I think that was a really bad choice that she made, and wasn't funny, but I understand why she thinks it was okay to tweet. But this, I am shocked. I have to say, I'm still shocked.
Do you think ABC, though, like, they're the ones who shut the show down? Like, was there another avenue in hindsight than to have all those people lose their jobs?
Yeah, I think that the PR people should have shut her Twitter down ages ago. Yeah. I mean, it was like, it was a problem for a while, but it was kind of like.
Such a bummer.
But it was like, she was like retweeting shit about like brainwashing and MK Ultra and like.
Yeah, no, it's stuff. It's obviously she's
like
fishing
conspiracy
for
theories.
some, yes.
But also it's like, you have to understand, like, and I'm not breaking news here, but like, she's admitted to being mentally ill.
Right.
She'd admitted it before. So I think there was a lot of people were like, oh, people know that she's Roseanne, and they're not taking it seriously. But then when she started getting more influence, and the show did 25 million viewers and was like huge, it was like, a lot of these people don't know that. They just assume if Roseanne tweets it, it must be true.
Right.
So then it started becoming like a poisonous, really irresponsible thing, because she's then now has 1 million followers, and people are actually listening to her again, and they think that what she's saying is true because it's on a computer, and nothing that's on the computer would be fake,
Yeah. Thank you guys for checking out this clip. And if you want to see another clip, then you can look at this clip or this clip, either one of these. So did you pick one, or are you still just watching me do this? Because this is alarming.